going to show you some ways to join in a new ball of yarn. The first way to do this is to get to the end of your row, drop your current yarn, put it in your opposite hand that you knit with to hold the tail down, take your new ball of yarn, match it up with the tail of your old yarn, this does not have to be exact, and hold both of those in your opposite hand. This is to give tension while you start to knit with the new yarn. Here, you just start knitting with the new yarn, keeping a hold of your tails to keep some tension. Work about 3 to 4 stitches. Then you can just drop both those tails, tug on them, tighten them up, and keep working. I do like to, when I do this, join, to set down my knitting after several stitches and take those tails and knot them together. This makes me feel more secure that they're not going to unravel, and so those edge stitches stay nice and tight and even. And then when you're done with your project, you can just weave in those ends. Another way to join your new yarn in is to drop your current yarn, pick up your new yarn, and instead of holding them both together, you're going to crisscross them. You're going to overlap them with one tail going this direction, and then the new tail going the opposite direction. And this time you're just going to hold on to just the tail of the new yarn. Now we're going to take the old yarn and the new yarn, and we're going to hold those together as we knit our new stitches. This joins both the yarns together nice and easily. When you get about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in, drop the tail of both yarns and just start working with your new yarn. The one drawback to this join is that your fabric will be just a smidge thicker right there because of those double strands. And you have to remember on your way back that these aren't separate stitches. You count them as one stitch. So you will knit through both of those loops when you get to them. Another way to join in a new yarn while weaving in the end of your old yarn is to knit a couple stitches, then drop your old yarn, bring in your new yarn, putting the tail in your opposite hand, put some tension on it again, and you're going to knit 1 stitch, and you're going to take this tail, come from the side up and over your new strand, and then knit a stitch. I like to kind of hold down on that strand just so it's not in the way. Then you come up and over again, going this direction, knit another stitch. Make sure that you're not pulling too tight on your old yarn, you're on your tail. Going to do that one more time. Now after you do about 3 to 4 stitches of that, maybe even longer if that makes you feel more secure, you're going to go the opposite direction with this yarn. So instead of going the way we were going this way, we're going to pull the yarn from behind this way and then up and over. Then knit a stitch. Do it again. Go in the opposite direction. Knit a stitch. And then one more time. going this direction. And a stitch. And what happens is the front looks nice and neat. On the back, your tail has been carried along, going a different direction to snug up. So this side is already woven in. You can trim it up. Now you will just have this other tail to weave in later. Another way to join two yarns is the Russian join. You take the end from your current yarn and one from your new ball. I've already pre-threaded this on a very sharp yarn needle that is straight. The bent tips don't work as well for this. Then you're going to cross your yarn. The one underneath, you're going to pull over this direction. The one on the bottom, you're going to pull over that. They're going to form like a chain link right there. Now on this side, you're going to go in with your needle into the plies of the yarn. Just kind of working yourself back and forth in there. And you're going to bunch this up on your needle. You're working this end inside the yarn itself. You're going to pull it through as tight as you can, pulling out the tail. Straighten it back. This makes it one continuous piece joined onto this other interlocking strand. And you just trim the tail. And you're going to do the same on this side, threading your yarn. This is a very small eye needle. It's a little rough to get the yarn through. And then you're going to start burying it again in on itself. Try to make sure you get in between the plies. Getting a lot on the needle itself and kind of make sure it bunches up. This helps in the end. And then pull it through. Tug back. Now if this was on the same color, it would be really hard to see this. It is a little bit thicker right there. So your work, you'll be able to notice a little bit thicker spot. But the great thing about the Russian join is you don't have to weave in ends later.